Who's your emergency contact? Who should we notify in the case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I spent the last 2+ decades of my life. You know, I've been out of the SHU for a minute, but when I went back to the SHU for the knife, when my cellie left his knife in the cell and went to the shower, we got our cell shook down because a couple of natives ran in our cell from the compound to come try to kick it. And the compound dude followed him. Right, them motherfuckers came in, shot right through my cell. We're in there, 4 or 5 of us smoking. Here comes the CO. I think his name is Anderson. He's an old Mexican dude. He looks Mexican, but his last name is Anderson. And, you know, just before I continue the story, I just want to point out, like, you know, I mentioned a lot of piece of shit COs out here that are fucked up, that can't come to work, do their 8 hours and go home. But there's plenty of them. But there's more COs that are respectful. You know, it's just that the douchebags are so loud and they resonate with you that, you know, you start trying to like just paint a broad brush, you know, with all of them. But in fairness, there was plenty of COs in Florence and other places that I've been that were cool, that I respect, and that if I ran to in the street, I shake their hand and maybe even have a beer. You know, because I don't have anything against you. I don't have anything against somebody that works in a penitentiary or any of that. When I build an opinion of you is because of how you conduct yourself when I had my interaction with you. You know, so Anderson comes in because he's working the unit. He pulls over my curtain, and you know, a big ass freaking cloud just like escapes my room and hits him in the face. But he's not tripping. He said, "Hey man, them 2 dudes just came here. The compound's looking for him." And sure enough, the compound came down. They all kicked us out of the cell. Went in my cell, locked the door, and shook down my cell and found a knife. And that's how I ended up back in the SHU. Well, while I'm back in the SHU for the knife, a couple natives come back to the SHU. Dez and Jackson. Dez and Jackson are in-laws. I think Jackson was married to Dez's sister or something like that. But Jackson, he's got a 40-year bid. He's got a manslaughter on the res. He got in a fight, maybe a knife fight on the res, and ended up killing somebody. And ended up getting 40 years. So, you know, but when I got on the compound, like I said, there's always a lot of issues with the Native Americans, and they're always bickering between each other. They're always trying to find reasons to jump on each other and all this. So one of the issues they were having was, you know, there was like a little split. Like there was dudes that kicked it with Dez and Jackson and Stone, and then there was Sunbird and Moss and some other dude that was on the other side. And they're always bickering or politicking or whatever. So while we were in the SHU, Dez and Jackson come back there because I guess what had happened was a native came off the bus. And, you know, every time somebody comes off the bus, whatever race they are, whatever car they are, whatever gang they run with, you know, their homie's going to give them the 3rd degree. Like, hey, where's your paperwork? What's your tattoos? All that. So the kite that Jackson, cause you know, when they came to the SHU, Jackson and Dad shot me a kite. They were looking for something to smoke. So but in the kite, they were telling me what had happened. They had brought a dude in that was native, and you know, I emphasize this stuff. When you come off the bus, anybody that needs to know knows why you're on that yard. They have your case number. They have to make the bedroll for you. They get a bus list of people coming out. So they put together a bedroll with you, which is a blanket, 2 sheets, 4 pair of socks, 4 pair of underwear, 4 pair of t-shirts, and 2 sets of khakis. That's your bedroll with a cup and some shower slippers. And they send you on your way. No, they don't give you shower slippers. That's it. But, so, they have to make those bedroll for everybody that comes off the bus. And for them to make the bedroll, they have a list of your name, your number, what unit you're going to. And most people can tell what race you are by your last name. If your last name is Rock Above or Two Feather or Yellow Eagle or whatever, most likely you're probably a Native American. So when they get the bedroll, and they're getting the bedroll a few days before you even get off the bus. So once they get the list for the bedroll, whoever's got it is passing it out to whoever they need to pass it out to, and people are running names. So when this Native dude comes off the bus, there's already rumors that there's gonna be somebody off the bus that's has a sex case. And when he came into the unit, the whole unit knew it was him. The CO knows what kind of case you got. You know, Jackson was telling me, like, when he came in, the whole unit was quiet because they already know this dude's about to get butchered because everybody already know his case. But, you know, Jackson and Dez, they didn't just jump on him right off the top. They want to know what's going on. So they brought him into the room and talked to him and asked him, like, you know, what's up? What's going on? What are you here for? And maybe this dude's never been locked up before because he didn't feel like the need to hide his case. He said he was here for child molestation, right? Like, yeah, I'm just here for child molestation. Like it was gonna be cool, right? So yeah, that's what Jackson's like. Yeah, the dude just told us that he was here for a freaking some child molestation case. Like it was cool. Like we were like, oh, all right, that's cool, you know, because the way that he said it, it wasn't like with any hesitant or like, well, there might be a misunderstanding or anything. He was just like, yeah, I got a little a kid sex case, right? So Jackson and Dad looked at each other like, what the fuck, right? So what they told me was that they got up, they left the room, and they went to go, you know, put some stuff together to, you know, because they know they're going to go to the shoe. So they just put themselves a little care package they can hoop up and take back to the shoe. But when they left the room, he said when he came out, he said, man, the COs, there was like 4 COs in the office. Everybody posted up by their door. They're just waiting for the incident to happen, you know? So they went out, they did whatever they did, came back into the cell and beat the brakes out of him. He said, man, they were beating the shit out of the dude. The CO came. They didn't even mace him. They were just the CO was just letting dude stomp him out and just tell him, hey, stop resisting, stop, you know? Because usually when the COs run over there, they're going to spray you down. Shh. But he said the CO was just like telling him, hey, stop. Because no matter who you are, man, doesn't matter if you're in the streets or if you're a square, if you have a job or not, if you're a mother, a father, if you're a cop, a criminal, nobody likes these freaking pervs. Nobody likes somebody that is taking advantage of kids. You know, so like, it's not, I'm sorry, I'm just a little frustrated because nobody likes these dudes. Nobody likes these creeps. And, you know, some people want to say, hey, I'm just a criminal. I'm no better than them. Nah, fuck you. I am better than them. I'm not a fucking rapist. I'm not a child molester. And I punish people like that. So for any of those people out there that associate me or try to associate me with people like that, man, just don't say it out loud because I might slap you, you know? But, you know, and I'm getting off track here, but it's just, Last week I went and watched this movie, The Sound of Freedom. It was about, child sex trafficking. And on there, before I saw the movie, I saw a bunch of YouTube clips with these news anchors and reporters that were really trying to slander the movie, that were just like, oh, these guys, this guy Tim is trying to push some propaganda about some issue that really don't exist. That they're trying to make it that this issue is bigger than what it is, that is real prevalent in our society. Yeah, it is. There's more slaves today than there was during the history of slavery in America, when the Africans were brought over here to our shores, to the shores. There's over 4 million people enslaved right now in our country. Half of them are children. And all those children are being sent to all these different countries for all these pervs to indulge in. And the people that live here in the United States might not want to hear this, but the majority of those kids are not sent to Bangkok, Thailand. The majority of those kids are sent here to the United States of America. Let that sink into your head for a minute. So when I'm watching these reporters talking about, oh, they're trying to push an issue that is not really prevalent and all this and that, to me, it's either your ignorance of the fact or you're part of the conspiracy trying to cover up something, because obviously you're not doing your homework and you're not realizing that there's indigenous kids, indigenous girls, hundreds of them that go missing every month and don't even get a clipping in a newspaper, let alone a statement from some mainstream network. Like I said, I apologize again for getting off track, but it's just, for me, a crime against kids is unacceptable. And I don't know any other way to put it. And if I run into you, I'm gonna bust your head. And I have a lot of history of dealing with these individuals, because I just have a hatred and a passion about them. If that makes me fucked up, then I'm gonna be fucked up, because I'm not gonna ever, whether I'm out here on the streets or in jail, be sitting around with a known child molester. If I run into one out here and I happen to know and find out, then I'm not gonna mention anything here for sure, but that's how I feel about them. You know what I mean? So, they end up smashing these dudes. This dude for being a child molester. They came to the shoe, and after I came out, they came out a few weeks later. All right, come on. Sorry. But, to cap off these stories, I just wanted to emphasize the fucked up politics inside the penitentiary. Because Dez and Jackson just went in and put in this work on this child molester, right? So while they're sitting in the shoe, these dudes out on the compound is politicking on them. Not for the work they just put in, but politic on them over like writing up bills and all this stuff. So when they came out of the shoe, there was a lot of issue brewing. And so they're politicking and planning on knocking these dudes off the yard. So when they come off the compound, I fuck with them. When I first came to Florence, like I said, I ended up getting in a fight. Well, I got jumped in the kitchen, ended up going to the shoe, stayed there for like 6 months. But when I came out, they had put me in a cell with a Mexican dude. I forgot his name, but Crow. Yeah, remember Crow? I got along with him. He's cool, but he's annoying. He's annoying fuck, and a lot of people be wanting to beat him up all the time because he's annoying. But dude's cool. So, but he's kind of like bikerish, meaning, you know, his cell might not be all the way sanitary, you know? So when I came out of the SHU, they were putting me in his cell. But as I was going up to the cell, Dez and Jackson's like, hey man, I mean, you can be in his cell if you want, but if you rather, you can get one of our cells. And they moved two of their homies out of the cell and gave me one of their cells downstairs, which was either 122 or 123. But they gave me that cell. That became my cell. So for that respect, it's only natural for me to give him back that respect. And all my interactions with Jackson and Dez, it was always good. So I got to know them and got to like them, you know? So while they were in the SHU, these dudes politicking or whatever, when they come out, I don't let them know. I fuck with these dudes. And, you know, when I came out of the SHU and they weren't really certain about what was going on with my homies and stuff, these dudes offer their assistance, you know? And that goes a long way with me. And when people give me that respect, give me that love, I'm gonna return it every time, tenfold. It's just the way I work. So I hip them. Hey man, you know, these dudes be out here been politicking on you. Like, yeah, we heard. So for the next week or so, they're politicking. Like, I'm not part of their conversation. You know, me, I try to stay out of anything that I'm not gonna commit myself to. It's just simpler that way. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about somebody that I don't like, because anything that comes out of my mouth can't be taken back. And once it comes out of my mouth, it reaches someone else's ear, there's no guarantee that it's gonna stay. And it's only a matter of time before it spreads around. You know, they have a saying, what's the difference between a rumor and a secret? You know, a rumor, everybody knows about it. A secret, everybody knows about it, just one at a time. So one day I'm walking up to the yard, I run into Tiger and his homeboy. There's a crew of them, there's about 6, 7 norteños. Most of them lived in EA. I live in DA. So when we come out, you know, they come out this way, I come out this way, and we gotta go up to the wreck. So as we're walking up to the wreck, Tiger comes up to me, he's like, hey man, what's up, man? He's like, you good? I was like, yeah, as far as I know. Like, what's up, what's going on? He goes, nah, we've been hearing about the natives. They're brewing, they're about to clash. And we know you fuck with them. We just wanna make sure you're good. I was like, oh yeah? I said, well, who are they politicking on? And it was the same thing. They had these other group of natives that was politicking on Dez and Jackson. And they're like, you know, I know you fuck with them. Just let us know. You know, I'm not gonna look too much into what Tiger was saying, but from my perspective, it was like he was looking out for my well-being, and even at the same time offering any assistance that I might need. You know, like I said, when people do things like that for me, I'm grateful for that. You know, I appreciate the love and the respect. So when I came back in from rec, I went looking for Dez, Jackson, and Stone. So I went up there, and when I went up to the cell, they're all in the cell sharpening their knives. They're in there, you know, you take the blade, like when you sharpen your knives, they're sharpening it in a big circle like this. Instead of just going like this and trying to sharpen your knife, because when you go like this, it makes a groove in the floor. And when the CO comes in and sees you got a groove in your floor, they can lock you up. But if you're scraping it like this, a wide circle, you're still sharpening the knife, but you're not leaving a big ass groove in the floor. So when I open their cell, they're on the floor, you know, Stone, one of them sitting on the bunk, and the other two is sharpening the knives. So I'm like, hey, I say, hey man, what's going on, homie? Like, what's up? You know what I told you when you first came out the SHU? They're like, yeah. I said, man, you guys need to go ahead and freaking figure this thing out, because right now is not being contained between you and you guys. Because I got the Norteños, then I got the homie Rudy that are inquiring about what's going on because they've been hearing about all this stuff. And, I fuck with Dez and Jackson, so if they clash, I might clash too. But me clashing might bring in the Norteños, might bring in the Texas MA because they fuck with me. So I'm telling Dez and Jackson, I'm like, hey man, you guys need to figure this out, because if you don't, and this shit, if we're walking on the compound and these dudes bust a move on you with me there, I'm gonna get involved. And if I get involved, there's other people that fuck with me that sees it, they're gonna get involved, on my behalf. So it might end up in a clusterfuck. Like, nah, we know, Mesa, we know. I want to go holler at them dudes right now. So on the next move, they go out there. They're all strapped up with their knives. They all go out to the yard. Like I said, it don't have anything to do with me. These dudes are dealing with the politics within themselves, and they're going to go out there and deal with it. So they go out there. We're just watching for waiting for the deuces to go off, because we know they're going to go out there and clash. But the yard is split. So EA, EB wrecks in the same rec yard together. CA, CB wreck in the one yard together. And us and DA, we just wreck up by ourselves. We would wreck with DB, but DB was a psych ward, for the crazy. And they never came on the compound. Because they split the yard up. They fenced it all up, made it 3 cages. So when you go to wreck, you just wreck with your block. So unless you're doing it on the walk, and sometimes they'll call like EA, EB first, then they'll call D block, then they'll call CA, CB. So you can't really interact unless at recall. At recall, they just open the gate and everybody just go back to your unit. So a lot of times when I run into people in other unit, it's on recall. So these guys go out to the yard, and they're in yard 3, which is right in front of our unit. And they're sitting up on the bleachers by the gun tower, and I'm watching. There's other people on the yard, on other yards or whatever. And they're in there. They're not in there with any other natives from the other blocks or any of the natives that are politicking against them. So I guess they're just waiting for recall where they can all come out of the fence and run into each other. But about 15 minutes into the yard, I see a few, because I'm watching, trying to see what's going on, and I see about 3 or 4 COs come out of the lieutenant's office. They come out, a couple of them went into yard 1, a couple of them went into yard 2, and a few of them went into yard 3 where Stone and Dez and Jackson was at. And I could see them come in. I could see them all standing up, getting patted down, getting handcuffed, and all taken to the SHU. So nothing ever happened. They all went to the SHU. Well, about 3 weeks later, they came back out. Now, while they were in the SHU, they've already had a couple dudes on the compound that were new to the compound, but not, new to the prison system. But the people that were coming in my unit were more aligned with the dudes that was politicking on Dez and Jackson. So their plan was, when Dez and Jackson come back on the yard, they were going to get them. So on the day they let Dez and Jackson out, they were in the laundry room. And when they were getting their clothes in the laundry room, I guess one of the dudes in the laundry room told them, hey, there's a few natives waiting for you guys in the block. And, we know that Dez is coming out. And I can see the 2 natives that they sent into our block to wait on them. I'm not sure exactly how I felt at the time, because it's just, I'm just observing. So anyway, but Dez and Jackson never make it to our unit. We're like, damn, I thought, what happened? So the rumor came back that they heard that Dez and Jackson, was in the laundry room getting ready to come on the compound, but somebody hipped them that they were going to get butchered when they got into the block. So they didn't come out. Now, in our eyes, that's checking in. no matter what's awaiting you, you gotta go. You can't refuse the rec cage. You can't refuse to go into a block. You can't refuse to go into a cell. You cannot refuse. You cannot run. And so when the people came back, when they were coming back in the unit and they told me that, I was fucked up because, like I said, I haven't made up my mind, but I fought with Dez and Jackson. And I see the two dudes in the block that's waiting for them. So I'm waiting for them to get in the block. Because, I don't sit and contemplate these things, but they never made it back. And when they didn't make it back, that kind of made my decision for me because, for me, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. You could be a gangster your whole life, but at the end of your career, if you went and told on everybody, obviously you're not a gangster, right? You're a rat, So they go back to the shoe, and a week later, they come out, and this time, people the natives didn't know they were coming back out, so they weren't prepared for them, and they came back out. They both, because I didn't even know they were coming out. I'm in my cell, and my door open, and it's Dez and Jax. They got the bedroll. They come in there, they close the door, like, "What's up, Mesa?" I said, "What's up, man?" He goes, "Man, they plotting on us? They plotting on us?" I said, "Yeah, they plotting on you. Dudes in this block is plotting on you." "All right, you got a knife?" I said, "No, I had one, but like I said, my decision was made when these dudes refused to come on the compound, I said, "No, I don't have one." But they don't have any issue with getting one because now, regardless how the politics started, right here, a line was drawn. And I have to make a decision. And my decision was, I'm just going to stay out of it because it's native politics. I'm going to stay out of it, even though I like Dez and Jackson, by them refusing to come on the compound because they knew there was a couple of dudes waiting in the block. That got me in my feeling, not in my feeling, but it disappointed me and it dropped, my respect level for them. Because now, okay, I see your true heart. You're not really with the funk. You're with the funk when you feel like you have an advantage. That's okay. I don't have anything like personal animosity or anything towards them. It's just like it was disappointing because I really liked these two. But at the same time, I still gave them the courtesy. Yeah, the natives out here politicking on you, homie. So they went and did whatever they did, and I'm expecting shit to pop off right there and then. But nothing happens. Nothing happens for like 2 or 3 days. So I'm like, all right, maybe the native bros changed their mind. So I'm up at medical, doing my medical checkup, whatever issue I had with that day. And as I'm coming back, they're calling chow, they're calling lunch. So I just, hit the corner. They haven't called my block for lunch yet, but they already called, the compound for lunch. And they let us out of medical. Everywhere you go, you get locked in. And you can't leave until they call and move the next hour. Every place you go is secured. You go in, they lock the door, and it's not going to open back up until the next move. So when they called chow, they opened up the door, and I went into the kitchen to go eat. So while I'm in the kitchen, the deuces go off. When the deuces go off, in the kitchen, it's all windows, all around the kitchen. So you can look up and you can see every unit, you can look out to the yard and see every block. So every time the deuces go up, the whole kitchen clears. Everybody's up, whoop, they're on the window. Because like I said, we're not being nosy. We're just trying to ensure our own safety, protecting ourselves by seeing who got involved, because whoever is involved might determine the rest of our involvement, So we see him pull 2 people, but they take him outside through the walk up to the lieutenant's patio, and then they take another dude with long hair. His face is down. I'm looking, and it's Jackson. He's got him in handcuffs. He got long hair. His hair's all messed up, whatever, but you couldn't see his face. From the top of his forehead down to his chest was just blood. Like, you couldn't see his face. You couldn't make out his nose, his eyes. It was just blood. Blood was caked on his hair. Blood was on his shirt. And like, damn. Oh, they got him. So after chow, when I come back into the unit, my block is locked down. Everybody in the block is locked down. So when I come in, they take me to my cell. But I see on the staircase, they have these forensic stuff. They have the caution tape. This is the first place I ever been, Florence, where when someone gets stabbed, where there's an incident, that they have a forensic team come in. And when I say a forensic team, I'm talking about a forensic team. They come in there with their cameras, with their little cue cards, with their placement, you know, here's number 1, number 2. They tie up the little caution area. Like, for me, it's comical, you know. So they go and they take these freaking labels, one with numbers on them, and they're putting them on like every blood splatter, taking pictures of it, putting on every piece of weapon or whatever that was used. And what I saw was a lock that was busted up. Now, if anybody ever had a master lock, you know how hard them things are. Well, the master lock that I seen on the floor was busted up in 3 pieces. So whoever was smacking Jackson was putting it on him where it busted the freaking master padlock. And the 2 dudes that jumped on him, one of them, his name was Plenty Chief, and the other one was Nose. And you know, they caught him slipping. They said he was coming out the stairs, and they caught him at the bottom of the stairs and went to work. You know, the stories I share from you are going to be mostly from Asian Islander and Native American stuff, because that was where I lived. That's who I ran with. That was my circle. And I love the Native bros in there. I have a lot of them that I call brothers that we still keep in contact till today. But them as a community is fucked up, because they're always at each other's throat. They're always plotting on each other. And I really do hope that somewhere down the road they can understand that we're all brothers in the same struggle. We're not the enemies. Yeah, we have history. They have history. But the people they meet in the penitentiary aren't the guilty party. Their ancestors or whatever might align with the Union to push some tribes off their land or whatever. But the ones that are alive today aren't guilty of that. And the ones and on the other side, you know, it's easier for us to say things like what I'm saying, being outside of the situation. But we're already in the penitentiary. We're already in a struggle. We're already in a situation where we might need the numbers. We might need to be around good dudes to secure our safety. And over again, the natives are always so quick to butcher each other, and it's disappointing and sad. Welcome to the USP.